Cruise tipping has become one of the most debated and confusing topics at sea. More passengers than ever are heading to guest services to remove their automatic gratuities, and everyone's asking the same question: where does that money actually go? Cruise lines say these tips support the hardworking crew who make your vacation unforgettable. But with higher prices, new service charges, and vague policies, many cruisers are starting to lose trust in the entire tipping system. And when even cruise lines once known for being all-inclusive, like Virgin Voyages, suddenly add daily gratuities back into their fares, it leaves travelers wondering, are these cruise tips truly helping the crew, or just another hidden fee at sea? Today, you'll get the ultimate guide to cruise gratuities. We'll break down why so many cruisers are removing automatic tips, the hidden truth behind how the tipping system really works, and the smartest way to make sure your money directly supports the crew who earn it. Now, let's get started. Why are people removing tips? All right, so what's really driving this shift? Why is a growing number of cruisers taking that walk down to guest services? It really all boils down to 5 key reasons. Number 1, lack of transparency. This is the number one reason, the primary motivation for almost everyone who removes their gratuities. When you ask people, this is their answer. Cruise lines are often incredibly vague, defining the tip pool as going to your room steward and dining staff, but then they'll add a fuzzy line about it also going to other support staff. Unseen, unnamed people. It's this deep uncertainty that makes people ask, what am I actually paying for here? But recently, this has gone beyond simple uncertainty. The biggest change is the flood of rumors, reportedly coming directly from the crew themselves. Passengers across multiple cruise lines claim that crew members have told them their base salary doesn't actually change, whether the automatic gratuities are left on or removed. The story is that the crew is guaranteed a set salary, which is made up of their base pay plus the pooled tips collected. Because of this, passengers say crew are now giving them direct advice. Apparently, some crew members are telling passengers, go to guest services, remove the automatic gratuities, and instead give that cash directly to me and the others who served you. It will have a much greater impact on our lives. Ultimately, it comes down to a simple request from passengers. We just want to know where our money is going. Without a clear answer, more people are choosing to take control themselves. Number 2, it's not tied to service level. For most of us, tipping is directly connected to the quality of service we receive. If the service is mediocre, you tip less. If it's average, you tip an average amount. And if someone provides truly exceptional service that makes your vacation special, you're likely to tip exceptionally well to show your genuine appreciation. But with the automatic pre-assigned gratuity system on a cruise, that entire principle is erased. Passengers feel that automatically paying a set amount completely ignores the actual service they received. Everyone is charged the same standard fee per day, whether their experience was phenomenal or forgettable. This one-size-fits-all approach means you can't use your gratuity to reward that amazing waiter who went above and beyond, nor can you reduce it to reflect an experience that was genuinely disappointing. For most people, that's simply not how tipping should work. They want the freedom to adjust the amount based on the quality of service they actually experienced. Number 3, the loss of personal connection. Many cruisers simply hate the idea of a computer somewhere on the ship just taking their money and calling it a gratuity. It feels cold, automated, and completely impersonal. Let's face it, on a human level, it feels good to give a tip directly to someone who has genuinely impacted your vacation. There is a real personal satisfaction that comes from being able to hand cash to a crew member, look them in the eye, and personally say thank you for the great service they provided. In that moment, you feel your generosity has a direct, meaningful impact on them. This automatic system completely removes that rewarding, personal experience, and people are choosing to bypass it just to bring that human connection back. Number 4, some people want to pay more. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but a significant reason people remove gratuities isn't to be cheap. It's because they want to be more generous. Some people feel the assigned daily rate simply isn't enough for truly outstanding service, but they refuse to add more money into that same anonymous pooled system. For these cruisers, the standard rate of $18 or $20 a day doesn't cut it for a crew member who provided world-class service, and they would much rather tip more. Instead, these cruisers prefer to take control of their own generosity. Many will leave the daily gratuities on as a baseline, but then make a point to give an additional gratuity in cash to the specific crew members who made their trip special. An extra cash tip to their cabin attendant, a waiter they loved in the dining room, or a bartender who makes their favorite drink just right. For these passengers, it's not about the total amount given. It's about making sure their extra generosity directly reaches the hands of the people who truly earned it. Number 5. Some people want to pay less. This group has a few different perspectives. First, some people feel the constantly rising gratuity amounts are just too much for their budget. A very common and fair criticism is that it's outrageous to be charged the same full gratuity rate for a child or a third person in a cabin as it is for the two main adults. But the biggest factor here is the sheer cost. As daily gratuities have climbed, in some cases to nearly $25 per person per day, this is no longer a small line item on your bill. That starts to add up significantly, and for first-time cruisers or families on a tight budget, it's a major expense they may not have been prepared for. This category also includes people who, for personal or cultural reasons, don't believe in the practice of tipping at all. While many of us come from a culture where tipping is expected, we have to recognize this isn't universal. And since the cruise lines themselves explicitly state that gratuities are optional and can be removed at guest services, these passengers feel they are simply exercising a valid option the company has provided them. Whether it's due to the high cost, a feeling of unfairness, or simply a different cultural view on tipping. How much you will actually pay. So now that we know why people are opting out, let's talk numbers. How much money are we actually talking about? Here is a breakdown of the standard daily per-person gratuity rates for non-suite staterooms based on official information from the major cruise lines as of late 2025. And remember, if you're in a suite or premium cabin, these numbers are always higher. At the lower end, you have Cunard at $16 per day for Britannia-class cabins, and both Carnival and Disney Cruise Line are also right around that $16 mark. In Disney's case, that's a recommended daily amount rather than an automatic charge, but it's what most guests choose to pay. Moving up slightly, Princess Cruises and Holland America Line are both at $17 per person per day. Viking Ocean Cruises also charges $17 per day, but that's already scheduled to increase to $20 starting in early 2026. Then you have Celebrity Cruises at $18 per day, and Royal Caribbean coming in just above that at $18.50 per day. Currently among the highest is Norwegian Cruise Line at $20 per person per day for most standard cabins. And, of course, there's Virgin Voyages. For years, they were famous for having no daily gratuities. It was all built into the fare. But starting October 7th, 2025, that all changes. Virgin is introducing a $20 per person per night gratuity, which will show up as a separate charge on your invoice. You can choose to pay it on board instead, but if you do, the price jumps to $22 per night. In other words, Virgin Voyage's famous no-tipping era is officially over. Now, it is absolutely critical that you understand this next part because this is where many cruisers get confused. Those daily charges we just covered are pooled among your cabin stewards, the dining and buffet service teams, and other crews supporting guest operations behind the scenes. They do not cover anything else. For nearly all of these cruise lines, if you buy a drink, eat in a specialty restaurant, or use the spa, an automatic gratuity of 15% to 20% will be added to those bills separately. So yes, you are being charged for tips in multiple areas beyond just that daily rate. Some cruisers still get this wrong. They think, okay, I'm already paying $17 a day for my cabin, so that means I don't have to tip on my drinks, right? That is not true. If you buy a drink package, you will still pay a gratuity on the total cost. And if you're buying individual drinks, you'll be charged a gratuity on each and every one. So, what does this actually look like on your final bill? Let's do the math on a typical one-week cruise, using an average rate of $20 per person per day. For a 7-night cruise, that is an extra $280 for a couple. For a family of 4, that's an extra $560 added directly to your vacation cost. As you can see, this really starts to add up. It's no longer a small amount of money, and it's a major reason why this turned into such an important and controversial topic for so many cruisers. The hybrid strategy: tip like a pro. So with all this complexity and all these charges, what should you actually do on your next cruise? Based on advice from thousands of experienced cruisers and direct feedback from crew members themselves, here's your Smart Tipper's Guide to navigating the system. Avoid the double tipping trap. First, a critical warning. Be extremely careful about what we'll call double tipping. This happens all the time at bars, coffee shops, and the spa. You'll get a receipt for your drink or service, and it will clearly show a line item where an 18% to 20% gratuity has already been added. But then, right below it, there's that blank line for an additional tip. We're so conditioned to fill in that line. But do you know where that extra money actually goes? Some cruisers say crew members have quietly told them that those added tips don't always go directly to them. Often, they just go back into a general fund. Their advice was simple. If you want a specific person to get a tip, don't write it on the receipt. Hand them $1 in cash. Because here's the truth: cash is king. If you want to make 100% sure your generosity goes directly to the person who earned it, hand them the cash yourself. The hybrid tipping strategy. Now let's talk about the most effective strategy used by savvy, experienced cruisers: the hybrid approach to tipping. It starts with this, and it might surprise you. Keep the automatic gratuities on. Many experienced cruisers choose not to remove their daily service charge for 2 reasons. Some do it knowing that the pooled tips support the entire team, the cooks, cleaners, and laundry staff working tirelessly behind the scenes who they'll never meet. Others do it because they don't want to risk shortchanging someone who depends on that system to get paid. They'd rather not penalize the crew for a confusing policy created by the cruise line. Then comes the second part, the golden rule: for exceptional service, tip extra with cash. After everything, one truth stands above the rest. Cash is the only guarantee. If someone goes above and beyond for you, the only way to be 100% sure they personally receive your appreciation is to hand it to them directly. Who to tip extra with cash. Finally, let's talk about who you should have some small bills ready for. Here's a quick list combining best practices from seasoned cruisers and crew alike. Before you board, luggage porters, the people who take your bags at the terminal. The social convention is to tip them, usually around $2 to $5 per bag. On board the ship, your cabin or stateroom attendant. They do so much to make your cruise comfortable. A small cash tip at the end of the cruise is a great gesture. Your primary waiter or dining staff. If you have the same waiter for several nights and they've been outstanding, a direct cash tip is a fantastic way to say thank you. Bartenders and baristas. Keep a few dollar bills with your cruise card. If someone consistently makes your drinks or coffee just right, an extra $1 or $2 goes a long way. Casino staff. If you're playing table games, you can tip the dealer by placing a small bet for them. For servers delivering drinks, tip with a low-value casino chip or have small bills ready. Spa or salon staff. A service charge is usually included, but if you want to give something extra directly to your stylist or therapist, hand them cash. Adding it to the bill may just send it back into the general pool. On shore excursions, tour guides, shuttle drivers, and cab operators, it's customary to keep a few small bills on hand to thank them for their service. So, after looking at this from every angle, what is the final verdict? Let's be direct. The current system of automatic gratuities is broken. It creates confusion for passengers, it breeds uncertainty, and most importantly, it fails to provide the basic transparency that both cruisers and the hardworking crew deserve. For now, the best way for you to navigate this complex issue is with the hybrid strategy. Leave the automatic gratuities in place to support the entire crew behind the scenes, but use cash to directly and personally reward the individuals who made your vacation truly special. It is the most fair and effective solution currently available to you. Ultimately, however, the real, lasting solution must come from the cruise lines themselves. The hope, shared by so many in the cruising community, is that the industry will finally move towards a simpler, all-inclusive model. By raising their fares to pay staff a proper professional wage, they can finally offer a transparent price and allow everyone to simply relax, knowing that great service is simply part of the experience, not an extra line item on the bill. But now I really want to hear from you. This is a huge topic, and every perspective matters. What's your personal strategy? Do you leave the automatic gratuities on, or do you prefer to remove them and tip in cash? Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more people. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already for more straightforward cruising advice. Thanks for watching and happy cruising!